G'day again, everyone. Okay, this is another update. This is probably number 10 or 11. Okay, well, I've got my front guards sort of basically finished now. The shape I'm done. Because as mentioned with others, I'll go over it with a heavy coat of 2-pack primer and guide coat it and so on and finish it off completely. But yeah, I've got the shape, I've got the edge primer on it, so yeah, it's difficult to see just how it's going to look without it being all the one colour. And the next step then is to finish off the bonnet. The bonnet I did a long time ago, and I never actually got around to finishing it. It's quite chunky. It's made out of several pieces that I cut off, so I've taken close to a foot out of the bonnet, and I use the bottom pieces on the pieces I cut out to weld back into it to make the shape. But yeah, it still requires a fair bit of panel beating and then puttying, and yeah, before I do anything I've got to get the surface rust that's got on it since I originally did it and the rest of the paint off. And that we'll be waiting till tomorrow because it's now, you can see, 10 past 11 at night, so I won't be making noise now. I've got like a scourer pad that fits on the angle grinder, which I use to get the paint off. That's about the most effective thing I've come across for getting paint off. Yeah, so that's where I'm up to. I've got to keep remembering to hold my phone a different way, I think. This is a new phone as well. I keep putting my fingers in front of the lens. Yeah, that's where I'm up to. I still haven't completely finished the back guards. I've still got to weld a lip under here on both sides. As I've done here. I actually haven't even finished that. I did a bit on the edge here. I haven't finished across here. Undecided whether I'll cut holes for the tail lights yet or leave that till later. I mean, that can be done after it's painted, when it doesn't really matter. So, and I was thinking that I would need to have the whole exhaust done to build the cage around the back of it. But yeah, basically that can wait till after the body's painted as well. And even, I've found the muffler that I'm going to use. It's got, an inlet and an outlet at each end of it. So, and it can work in a crossover fashion. So that will be running across the back of the engine. What I've done here, I've made just a mock-up, just with some old bits of water pipe. They're actually off a clothesline that I cut up, and which is just a temporary thing, just done up so that I can unbolt, take into the exhaust place and see what they'll charge to bend me up some pipes, and compare that with buying. You can buy the individual bends and pipes, and I could make it up myself as well. So yeah, that's the decision I'll make down the track. But yeah, as I said, these are just a bit of a mock-up just to show how it's going to go. So they will then come from here and here. So you can see I've crossed them over, so we've got a similar length in the pipes before going into the muffler. I was going to use the original muffler until I had a look at inside at the construction, and it's basically no better than a lawnmower exhaust. It's very restrictive, so yeah, that was the decision to toss it away and get a completely different muffler. So the muffler will be running east-west across the back of the motor, up at around this height somewhere. And that's, yeah, because it's a Baja. That's one thing I learnt with early bush basher Volkswagens, is that was the first thing you would lose would be the exhaust. So I will be putting a bash plate under the engine. I'll be keeping my header channels. I've actually taken one of them off on this side, because that pipe that goes through the heater channel is a bit rusty, so I'll be replacing that as well, and then I'll reform the heater boxes, possibly make them in a bolt together fashion so they're easier to get on and off. But yeah, the muffler will be running east-west across the back of it. It'll have the inlets probably coming in at the bottom, and then the outlets coming back out like that through the engine cage, which will be here somewhere, and then the boot lid will have to fit into the engine cage as well. So, but yeah, basically I could actually make that up, or the main part of the frame, but all I need is basically a measurement of the muffler to know how much room to allow for it. So yeah, so that's where we're up to. I'm getting my finger in front of the lens again. Sorry about that. Okay, so we still have a bit of work to do, but yeah, as I said, most of the shaping's already done now. There'll just be a bit of stripping back and painting. I've got a little bit of rust on the inside of the driver's door to fix. I've got a bit on the outside of the passenger door, as you can see down here. So yeah, there might be, it's looking like I'm going to have to cut a whole strip off the bottom of the door and replace it, which is a bit of a concern considering that it's a huge flat panel and the potential for buckle, and it's pretty big. So I'm going to have to think this one out, and yeah, I might even tack a bar across it to hold it or something. It's a big concern, the potential here to basically destroy the whole door. Once you get a panel in a buckle in a panel of this size, it's really hard to fix it. So yeah, I'm gonna have to make every attempt for it to not buckle. Also doing your welds, doing what they call stitch welds, a little bit at a time, trying not to get it hot. That's obviously the best method to protect it from buckling, but the issue with that becomes impatience, and a weld of that size, if you're just stitching it a little tack at a time, letting it cool, you'll spend the whole day just doing one door. And that becomes an issue because I get impatient with it. But anyway, see how we go. So, yeah. As I've mentioned before, I'll get to put all these videos into one when it's finished and edit it, and Okay, thanks for watching. Now I gotta find the button to shut it off.